Yo, what's up, guys? We're back and we're going to be breaking down UFC 237. So we're just going to jump right into it. First fight of the night with Toledo Bernardo against Melissa Gatto. And I actually have a play on this fight. Pretty substantial play, actually. It's one of my biggest plays of the year on Toledo Bernardo at minus 160. Now she's like, I'm about to look this up real quick, but now I think she's like something ludicrous. I mean, yeah, minus 475 now, so... Yeah, I mean, at this point, I wouldn't touch that. But, if you want to put in a parlay, actually, now that I said I wouldn't touch it, I actually think this is pretty safe, even at those odds. I think she's going to win. But, she earned her first UFC win last time out, and she's going to be searching for her first win streak. Pretty dominant decision victory over Sarah Moraes. And she was expecting to face Jessica Rose Clark here. And now she's going to be facing this newcomer, Melissa Gatto. And, Bernardo, she's actually faced some pretty solid competition. She fought Marion Renault, Irene Aldana. Both those girls are in the top 15. And Bernardo, she isn't a great striker. She throws a jab, 1-2. She does have a decent overhand right, decent leg and body kicks. But she doesn't move her head. She'll stand flat-footed. She does kind of have poor defensive movement. So she gets tagged quite a bit if you're a good striker. But she's tough. She has a good chin. She's, able to stick in the pocket, and then eventually try to duck under, find a way to get it to the ground, whether she pulls guard or if she, takes you down. And if she can't find her takedown, though, and force a strike, she will gas. And, she looks very sloppy on the feet. But in this fight, to be honest, the level of striking of Melissa Gatto is on a fairly similar level to Toledo. So if they are forced to strike, I wouldn't be quite, the disparity, in my opinion, in skill level. But I do, feel like she's learning on the feet a little bit. She's getting a little bit better. She's getting a little more comfortable. But I do probably think Gatto's striking is maybe a little bit better. But, for Bernardo, she's never gotten a KO TKO. And she has been TKO'd one time against Marion Renault. And that was on the ground when she kind of gassed out in that third round. But Bernardo's a jiu-jitsu black belt. She has a pretty solid top game, good timing on double legs. And, she kind of lacks the explosion to drive through on some takedowns. But she does a good job getting on singles. And she's very relentless with the finish. If she can get the finish, she'll even pull guard, try to get a half guard sweep. Good job getting double underhooks in the clinch and looking for trips. And that's where she seems the strongest with her takedowns, or in the clinch with those jiu-jitsu style takedowns, and once she gets on top, she's heavy. She likes to use pressure passing. She'll move some side control, the mount. She has very nice arm bars. She'll get the back, good rear naked chokes, and she has no problem, being on her back either. Good leg lock. She's able to sweep to top position, good arm bar. She can get a little bit desperate going for the arm bar and the guard. And, just get, it seems like she can get a little bit fidgety, and she got mounted and finished her strikes against Marion Renault because she was just kind of going for the submission too much and made it very easy for Renault to pass her guard. But that was after she was a little bit tired. And Bernardo has 4 submissions. She looks to work her takedowns, get dominant position, and just lock in a submission. That's always her game plan. And I think if she takes Gatto down, she's going to be able to control position, stay on top for, the whole round or the majority of the round, most likely. And I think this could be a good matchup for her. But Melissa Gatto, she's going to be replacing Jessie Jess. Like I said, she's getting a pay-per-view spot in her UFC debut. So it's a big spot for her. She's only 6-0, but she has 2 draws. And I'm not really impressed with her at all. She has very little striking to speak of. She is a jiu-jitsu player as well. She will throw low leg kicks, big overhand left and rights, and very wide with her punches, even her hooks. And I don't think she has big power or great technique. She will throw oblique kicks, front kicks to the body. She will throw a leg kick to a left hook combo. And when she throws kicks, though, she leaves her chin straight up in the air. She does a lot of pulling away instead of using movement. Just very amateur mistakes on her striking. Not a great athlete either. Bad footwork. She overextends on punches. She'll even stumble over her own feet. And, she crosses her feet a lot when she's moving on the feet, which is just not a good thing to see. And when she gets pressured, she moves back in straight lines. She'll shoot panic takedowns. She has no knockouts, and she doesn't throw with power to me. I mean, it doesn't look like she has pop on her shots. But, She gives big reactions to shot at times. I don't like her defense, but she has never been knocked out, so she still has a fresh chin, you guess. But, she's a jiu-jitsu player, but her wrestling is just not very good. And she's only a purple belt. She's going to be taking on a strong black belt in Bernardo. And when she fought City Rocha, she was dominated on the mat for a majority of that fight. She was taken down. She was controlled. She couldn't, she didn't really attack with submission. She couldn't get up off her back. And she seemed to lack physicality in the tie-ups and takedown attempts. And I see Bernardo being much stronger in the clinch. She seems to get taken down with double legs, body locks very easily. And she will attack off her back. She'll throw up arm bars, triangles. She'll try to sweep. But against Bernardo, I just don't know if she'll be able to use those techniques effectively. She will shoot doubles herself and go for body locks. And she does go for the finish if she gets on top. She'll try to quickly take them out, look for arm bars to the back. She was able to get a Kimura from bottom in her last match while latched onto a triangle. It was pretty nice. She has 4 submissions and 6 wins, and that's her game plan every fight. She's kind of a submission girl as well, and that's why I think this is a rough matchup for her. She's getting a step up in competition here, and it's in the UFC spotlight now. And Gato's up against it. I think Bernardo's the superior grappler, but Gato doesn't have the striking to not grapple herself. This is most likely going to be a jiu-jitsu match, and if Gato can get top position, that's her best chance to win. I don't see being able to do much of her back against Bernardo. And to me, man, I just think Bernardo's going to be able to get inside, get takedowns. Even if Melissa gets on top, I think she's going to be able to reverse, take top position with the, sweep. And I think she could get a submission, but I think Melissa's a tough girl, and I think it's going to be a dominant decision victory, 30-26, even for Toledo Bernardo, where she's just taking this girl down, controlling her, moving to dominant positions, landing shots from the mount, going for submissions, and I just think this is Toledo Bernardo all day here, and that's kind of crazy to say, at her level, but I think she wins this fight all day. I did pick her last time versus Sarah Moraes, and I bet on her, so I'm hoping she comes through 2 times in a row for me, and the pick is Toledo Bernardo by decision here. And then up next here, I kind of have to admit, I haven't watched a lot on this, on Carlos Quiris. I haven't watched that much on him, I did watch a couple fights, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I feel like, Raoni's looked excellent in his 2 UFC fights. He had a KO, he had a submission, and I just think he's the better athlete. He's faster, he's very good feints. He moves in and out very fast, nice combos, and he can close the distance really fast with his right hook. He has a nasty uppercut. Very explosive, he'll throw body kicks, spinning kicks, and just very defensively sound, very good in and out, and he has 7 knockouts. He's never been finished by strikes. Took a lot of big shots against Holobough. He's now fighting at 155, so at 135, I think you have a really good chin. And he's a Jiu-Jitsu world champion. He also wrestled for the Brazilian national team. He took silver at the Pan Games in 2006. His double leg is very good, and he disguises it with his uppercut. So he's able to get it very easily. He has good body locks, good singles. And when opponents against the cage, he has very nice takedowns, very good elbows, guard passing. His back take in the last fight was just really nice. He locked in that rear naked choke. And man, I just feel like, Carlos, he's a guy who's he's fairly athletic. He's kind of like all these guys that you see coming out of Peru where they're very aggressive early on. They have nice kicks. They're explosive with their punches. They kind of have some wrestling mixed in. And he trains out of the Pitbull Martial Arts Center who, gave us guys like Enrique Barzola, a couple other guys as well that fought in the UFC. I'm trying to think of their names. But other guys from Peru that fought in the UFC. They didn't fare extremely well, but that one guy just got a win where he was getting his ass beat. He got a submission at the very end of the fight, but I can't remember his name. But yeah, so he trains out at a decent gym. But, I just feel like he's too young for this spot. He's getting a short notice fight against one of the best prospects in the division in Raoni Barcelos. And, I think the line indicates where this fight is, man. I think Raoni is just much better. And, Raoni is a guy that could, compete with the top 10, top 15 of the division. So, he was going to get to fight Said Nurmagomedov, who that would have been an excellent fight. Both those guys are very good prospects. But now that he's taking on this guy, Carlos, I'm going to go with Raoni. And I'm probably going to say he gets a takedown in the first round and gets a rear naked choke. So I'm going with Raoni. be a first-round rear naked choke in this fight. And up next here, we have a fight with two guys who really badly need a win. In Alves, he had a terrible performance in his last fight. He was a huge favorite. He was fighting a guy who's a career 155er in James Krause, and he was knocked out. And it wasn't just a flash knockout. He was thoroughly dominated, and he really needs a bounce-back performance here. And Alves, he's a decent striker, and he has a very nice guillotine. A deadly guillotine. And as a striker, he throws very little setups, and everything is with 100% power. He has nice heavy leg kicks, good body kicks. He'll throw kicks with both legs, solid front kicks to the body. And he will throw, wide overhands. He'll throw uppercut, right hook, left hook combination. He does have power in his left hook, and he will throw left hook, overhand right. He has big power in that overhand right as well. He'll throw high kicks, nice spinning back kicks to the body, to the head. He uses a lot of big explosive attacks, big explosive movements. And he doesn't pace himself well. He's extremely aggressive early. He likes to walk his opponents down, go for the finish. And his defense, isn't great. He's low volume as well. And he was knocked out, like I said, for the first time in his last match. So it's going to be interesting to see how he reacts to that. But to me, a lot of his striking is very obvious. You can see it coming from a mile away. Both these guys, actually, you can kind of, say that about these guys. But he doesn't really have huge power. He only has 2 knockouts in his career. And he likes to slow the fight down, hold opponents against a cage, land short shots to the body, to the head. He does throw heavy knees to the body and the legs. And he has a good single leg, and he'll use the single leg to try to take the back. And on top position, he's not very aggressive, though. I highly doubt he's going to try to take down Sergio Moraes. And his takedown defense isn't amazing, but his guillotine is nasty. He has 5 guillotines. 3 in the UFC. He got a guillotine on Colby Covington. He was taken down by James Krause, and he could be in trouble if Serginho takes him down. But Alves has 6 submissions. He's never been submitted. And Worley needs to be tactical. Use kicks, keep distance, try to throw front kicks to the body, leg kicks, and just be more technical than Sergio. Keep him on the outside, and stop the takedowns and don't let him, wing some of those overhands and catch him with a big shot. But Sergio Moraes is going to be looking to bounce back after that decision loss to Rocco Martin. And loss for Moraes would probably close the door on him ever being top 15 again here, because he is 36 years old. And Sergio Moraes is a wild striker, but he's athletic. He has good power, and he will throw, wide looping hooks with both hands. And if they land, they can hurt you. He will throw a left hook, overhand right, wing counter left hooks. And he will throw a straight right hand left hook combo. But he almost, he'll move his head like completely off center line when he wings these hooks. And he has like a very odd style. He'll throw hooks in combination. And you have to respect his power, But I do feel, he can get hurt sometimes as well when he just walks people down with, reckless abandon at times. And sometimes he'll overextend on shots. But he has nice round kicks, front kicks to the body, even head kicks at the end of combinations at times. And he's fast, closing the distance. I actually feel like he's a little quicker than Worley Alves, but he doesn't have a lot of variety in his striking. He will throw, occasional kicks, but doesn't throw them very often. And a lot of his attack is just winging those hooks. But he has a good chin, but he has been knocked out twice, and he only has 1 TKO himself, so he isn't a power guy. But he's a multiple-time Jiu-Jitsu world champion, and we got to see him finally show some of that off against Ben Saunders. He doesn't really have great wrestling. He won't go for takedowns much, but in his last fight, he did try to go for takedowns against Rocco Martin unsuccessfully, and against Ben Saunders, he was pretty diligent looking for the wrestling, and instead of swinging wildly, he was calm, he moved in, he got a body lock, and in round 2, he didn't even throw a strike before he caught a kick, brought it back down to the mat, and I see him trying to do that in this fight. I see him trying to get top position, and on top, he does a great job keeping heavy top pressure. He'll move directly into half guard, and he kind of just will pass the side control. He'll methodically pass him out, and when he's getting to one position, you're never going to get him back to the next one. Very fundamental jiu-jitsu, like where if he moves from half guard to side control, most likely he's going to mount. He's not going back to half guard. He's a guy like that. But he got a high mount against Ben Saunders, and he almost got an armbar in round 1. He did get a mounted triangle against Neil Magny. And, he always tries to lock up that, he'll try to lock up an arm bar, an arm triangle. mounted triangle from the mount. He really likes to go for submissions from the mount. And, he submitted Ben Saunders with an arm triangle. In his match with Tim Means, he pulled guard. And when he's on his back, he will try to trap an arm, throw up triangles, sweep from that deep pad position. But opponents really haven't felt comfortable enough to stay in his guard. They'll usually try to stand up and not try to take him down. But he has questionable cardio, but he's good at winning decisions. He has a knack of winning splits. He's 8-3-1 in the UFC, and I see Serginho trying to get this fight to the ground. I think he could possibly land a big shot, hurt Worley as well. His striking is awkward. He wings bombs. And I think Serginho's going to win. I think if Worley doesn't get him out of there in round 1, he's going to gas. And I think if Serginho takes him down, he's going to finish him, especially in the later rounds. Even if it stays on the feet, I just have more faith Serginho's going to throw more volume or land a big shot and finish the fight. And, I just have more faith picking Serginho to get this win than Worley Alves. So I'm going with Sergio Moraes via either submission or decision in this fight. Up next, we have a fun fight, I would say. We got Zombie Girl coming back. I watched Mr. Arkansas's video where he said I was the only predictor that picked Priscilla against Molly McCann, and I might be the only predictor to pick her again because I'm picking her again in this fight against Luana Carolina. Both these girls are just not good. But Priscilla's 0-2 in the UFC. She wasn't in an entertaining, sloppy war in her last fight. It was a close fight against Molly McCann. And, she was supposed to take on Yanan Wu in this fight, but she got hurt. So now Luana's coming on short notice. But, Cachoeira is a barroom brawler, man. She's just aggressive. She absorbs a ton of punishment to give her own. And she will throw, a jab, a 1-2, heavy hooks, uppercut combos, and when she gets opponents backed up, she will pour on the pressure, throw long punching combinations. She'll attack the body with right hands. She'll throw straight right, left hooks. There's a lot of overhand rights. She'll also throw front kicks to the body and the head. She will throw head kicks, round kicks to the head. And she throws hard. She has no fear of being hit. She's very wild, very little defense, holds her hands low. And she's gotten a bit better at moving her head, but she still holds her chin very high. She's very tough, though. She'll plant her feet and go to war. She doesn't back off when she gets hit, and she just prefers to throw until someone drops. She has 4 KO, TKOs, and she's very durable. She's never been finished by strikes. She's not a good grappler. She won't go for takedowns much at all or try to get in the clinch. I don't expect that to change here. She has pretty bad takedown defense and very little, off of her back. On her back, she almost seems lost. She doesn't control posture well. She'll allow opponents to posture up, land big shots. And, she will take big shots, though. She never gives up. She has an unbreakable will. She's always going to be moving, trying to stand back up. And when Valentina Shevchenko was able to pass her guard into side control, she got the crucifix. She landed big elbows. Eventually got a rear naked choke. And she was almost armbarred against Molly McCann. And, but Carolina's a striker as well, so I don't imagine that'll be a huge issue in this fight. For Cachoeira, she has no submissions, and she has been submitted one time. And she has questionable cardio, but it looks like she catches second wins in fights. And, Cachoeira only fights one way, going forward, throwing bombs. She needs to go forward, eat shots to give her own, walk down Carolina, and try to land big shots. I actually think her pressure and combinations will give Carolina some issues. And for Luana Carolina, she's making her UFC debut. She's in her home country. She is coming off a win on the Dana White Contender Series Brazil, but she's very young. She's very raw in her career. And she's a Muay Thai striker with the mean streak. She does go for finishes, but I'm really not impressed with her striking. She's slow. She stands very upright. She'll throw her jab and 1-2 out there. She'll throw hooks in combination. And she gets aggressive with blitzes at times. She'll come forward with straight punches, front knees to the body, head kicks. But she's very wild. She doesn't really set anything up. And she'll throw occasional leg kicks, front kicks to the body. And in between those blitzes that she has, she's very low volume. She doesn't throw much at all. And she stands very heavy on her lead leg. She'll back up at straight lines. And when she's pressured, she leaves that chin right up in the air. She's very hittable backing up. Fighters are able to back her towards the cage very easily. And if they're aggressive, they just can control her against the fence, can push her back. She does do a good job of keeping a high pace. And she will pick it up in round 3. She has good cardio. She has decent power, I guess. She has 2 TKOs in 5 fights. But the women she's fighting just aren't very good. But She lets opponents get on her legs against the cage way too easily. She stands very upright. Takedowns are always readily available, and opponents are able to control her against the cage. She does have some nice knees to the body, short elbows in the clinch, relatively heavy hips, and she will counter with guillotines to defend takedowns. I haven't seen her go for many takedowns at all herself, but when she can reverse the top position off of a takedown, or if she could somehow get an opponent on the ground, she is very aggressive. She'll posture up, she'll throw straight punches in combination, and she can overwhelm lesser opponents and win the fight this way, but her control on the mat just isn't good. When opponents can get on top of her, she seems lost. She just lays on her back, and she doesn't seem great in the jiu-jitsu realm. She does have one submission, and she is undefeated. She's confident, and she needs to go forward, go first in this match, work behind her kicks, keep Cachoeira on the outside, get her backing up, and then close the distance with one of those blitzes, straight punches, knees to the body. Try to get in the clinch, rough Cachoeira up from there. And she can't allow Cachoeira to control the pace of the fight or back her up. I think she has the better gas tank, and she can maybe pour it on a tired Cachoeira and finish her at some point in the match. But I'm going to pick Priscilla Cachoeira in this fight. I can't believe I am picking her again in the UFC fight, but I'm just flat out not impressed with Carolina. I feel like she's tough, she's aggressive, she has killer instinct, I would say, but she's just not good. I see Cachoeira being able to pressure forward, land shots in combination that back up Carolina. Carolina doesn't have good defense, and this fight, is going to come down if she could take the shots and counter or if they'll be too much for her. I think Cachoeira is going to be the physically stronger fighter, the bigger fighter as well, and maybe able to have some cage control time in the clinch. Cachoeira, she trains with Jessica Andrade. She's the title challenger on this card, so she's going to be in some very good shape, ready to fight for a job on Saturday night. She is a warrior. And I will say Cachoeira via second round TKO or 29-28 decision, but, I'm not extremely confident in either girl, and I, couldn't play this fight, obviously. But I'm going to Priscilla Cachoeira, second round TKO. Man, and up next we have kind of another brutal fight with Clay Guida. He comes in the spot, as the biggest favorite on the card, and he's 37 years old. He was riding a 2-fight win streak prior to that loss to Charles Oliveira. He was rocked on the feet. He took a panic shot, and he was caught in a guillotine very fast. But, that's Charles Du Bronx Oliveira. He has taken nearly a year off, but he's the rightful favorite here against the 40-year-old BJ. And, everyone knows what Guida brings to the table. A lot of movement, relentless wrestling, great gas tank. And he's light on his feet. He has good in and out movement. And since we're in a team alpha male, he's much more about forward pressure. They've made his, head movement, his lateral movement less frenetic, more economical. And he's doing a better job blending his wrestling with his striking. And he's a decent jab. He'll throw a jab leg kick. He'll throw a jab left hook. Nice outside leg kick to overhand right combination. He will throw an overhand right as a lead also. And his straight right hand is still nice. His hand speed it isn't great, but it is faster than BJ's. He will fake shots, come over the top with hooks, wrestling shots that is, and he does a good job slipping shots coming back with his own. But I think he's susceptible to straight punches right down the middle, and he still uses a ton of movement. It makes him hard to hit, hard to tell if he's going to shoot a takedown or attack with strikes. He got a fast knockout against Joe Lozon, but to me that says more about Lozon than it does Guida. He landed a right hook that rocked him, then dropped him with the right hook. Uppercut, left hook combination. And Guida, he's never been known for his power. He only has 2 TKOs in 26 fights in the UFC. And he's shown good durability over his career. He's only been finished twice. But he has been rocked and then submitted a couple times. And I feel he isn't as durable as he once was. But Guida's still a relentless wrestler. He was able to dominate Eric Koch by taking him down against the cage, getting control time, ground and pound damage from top position. And he has good double leg and good body lock takedowns. He's decent at getting opponents on the back foot, getting it on double, getting takedowns against the cage. And he's good at circling to the back, dragging his opponent to the mat directly into side control. He will take them out. He has nice ground and pound. He doesn't really have extremely powerful ground and pound or finishing type ground and pound, but he throws a lot of volume. He can break opponents with his pressure, with his pace. He has good top control. He likes to take the back, go for rear nakeds, decent arm triangles. He tends to leave his head inside on takedowns and gets guillotined. He also will panic wrestle when he's hurt, and that's what led to most of his submission losses. He has been submitted 9 times in his career. And he has great cardio. He doesn't get tired, and that's one of his biggest advantages in this fight. And Guida needs to push the pace, move in and out, use that superior speed, that superior athleticism on the feet, look to land low kicks, his jab, his left hook. I think he'll also mix it up, go for takedowns. We saw Frankie Edgar dominate BJ Penn in top position, and I feel Guida can use the same game plan, if he's careful on top. Guida's going to have a big cardio advantage, and I see him being much fresher in round 3. I could see Guida finishing a tired Penn in the 3rd round, but BJ Penn, he's getting right back in the cage. He's coming back 5 months after his first career submission loss at the hands of Ryan Hall. And Penn's 40 years old, hasn't won a fight since 2011, 6 consecutive losses, and it's kind of hard to watch. I will say Penn's striking looked better than it had in the while versus Ryan Hall. He was having some success before he got submitted, and he has been training at Novo and Yao. That's in Brazil. He's fighting here, so I see him being the crowd favorite. But, Penn is well known for being one of the fastest fighters to ever earn his black belt. Hence the nickname The Prodigy. He doesn't really possess any wrestling in terms of takedowns, but he will try to use punches to get inside and then grab the single collar clinch. He was able to, briefly take down Yair Rodriguez with a body lock. In his most recent fight with Silva, he dropped him with a big uppercut. He swarmed him with some decent ground and pound. But, he was able to pass the side control, but he didn't do really much of anything with the position. He did show some decent takedown defense against Silva, and Silva isn't a wrestler though, but Frankie Edgar was able to take him down easily in the second fight. He was able to use a butterfly gourd. He stopped some ground and pound for a while, but he couldn't get back to his feet. And Penn hasn't earned a submission since he fought Kenny Florian in 2009. And Ryan Hall heel hooked him in his last fight, but Ryan Hall is one of the best leg lockers in the world. I don't think Guida is going to be able to submit Penn. Penn needs to hold his ground, throw straight punches down the middle. But I feel Penn will be much slower than Guida, but maybe more durable. That's hard to say, but his best chance to win is to get a finish in the first round. He was able to drop into Silva in round 2, but he gasses, and I think Guida can get one takedown, land some ground and pound, and Penn could potentially be cooked. But Penn could cut something off his back, possibly, or hurt him and submit him, but I think Guida will get a TKO most likely. I see him having a big speed advantage. And if he can make it out of round 1, even though I don't think BJ is going to put on a storm in round 1, I'm just saying I think if he can get out of the first round, Penn's going to be gassed out. I think Guida can land a left hook that hurts Penn and finish him. And I think if Guida doesn't finish him, he's just going to win, all 3 rounds and take a decision. Or maybe even if he lost the first round somehow or lost a round in there, I just don't see him losing 2 out of 3 rounds to BJ Penn. So, I'm going to Clay Guida, and one of the most confident picks on the night, obviously. And up next, we have a fight where this is one of my most confident picks of the night here with Irene Aldana. She's going to be making a return. She had a fight of the night type war with Lucy Pudilova, and she's going to be taking a road game here. She's facing Cachoeira in Brazil. This fight was scheduled to take place at UFC 227, but Betch was not medically cleared due to her eye issues. And for Aldana, she's a well-rounded fighter. She has a ton of heart. She has all the physical advantages here. She's taller, longer, more power. She's younger. She's the better athlete. And she's a slick boxer. She strikes at range. She controls distance very well. Great footwork, lateral movement, nasty jab, heavy leg kicks. Nice one too, and her straight right hand is very fast and accurate. She'll also throw a nice counter left hook. She has a nice jab, straight right hand, right uppercut combination. And she'll also throw an uppercut to a straight right hand combo. She has, nice fluid combinations, good power and hand speed, and good head movement. She's pretty tough to hit. She can get hit and get mad and want to go to war, get emotional. And she kind of needs to avoid that in this fight because Betch is the type of girl to talk to you, to try to goad you into a war. She isn't much of a kicker, but she has good leg kicks. She'll throw body kicks occasionally. She was throwing more front kicks to the body in her last match against Pudilova. And she should throw those here again. She is good at, staying in the pocket, countering with combinations. And Betch doesn't throw a lot of combos to the head, so that's an advantage there for Aldana. And Aldana hits hard. She'll close the show with her striking. She has 5 career KO TKOs, and she has been knocked out twice, though, or TKO twice. And Aldana is very physical. She's good in the clinch, good knees, big elbows. And I think she's the physically stronger of the two. And her clinch is definitely more damaging than Cachoeira's. But she won't go for takedowns very often, but she has good takedown defense. She has a good job digging double underhooks, reversing the takedown to take top position. Strong elbows on top. She'll attack with submissions. She likes to take the back, get rear naked chokes, and she's good in the scrambles. She's good at, scrambling to top position, and I feel she's the better scrambler than Cachoeira. And, she has amazing cardio. She has the same pace in round 1 as she does in round 3. And she's a finisher. She's finished 7 of her 8 wins. She has 2 submissions, both rear naked chokes. And Aldana proves she's willing to go through hell to get a win, against Lucy Pudilova. And she stayed technical in that fight, even through the chaos. Aldana needs to keep her jab out there. She should try to stay long with her punches, throw combinations. I think she can hurt Cachoeira with the second or third shot in a combo if she lands it. And I think her lateral movement, her footwork can give Betch issues. She can't let Betch get inside on her, back her towards the cage, or work her in the clinch. But I think Aldana's the better cardio, and the pace she pushes could, tire Betch by the 3rd round. And, for Betch Cachoeira, she hasn't fought in nearly 2 years. Her last fight, she got knocked out in the main event against Holly Holm, and she only has 1 win in her last 5 fights. For Betch, she's a striker, but she isn't the greatest athlete. She's flat-footed. She has a decent jab to the body and the head, and she likes to throw 1-2s. She has a nice left hook, and she'll throw right hooks, overhand rights, but she doesn't set them up very well. She actually has a pretty nice uppercut, and she will throw the uppercut after her hook combinations, and it's probably her most powerful punch. She likes to attack the body with hooks, with straight punches. She isn't a kicker, but she will throw leg kicks occasionally and body kicks. She can throw kicks a lot without setting them up and be countered. She really struggles with movement, and she needs a punch to sit and trade in the pocket with her to be successful usually. We saw that against Holly Holm. She couldn't really get anything going. She will try to throw things to close the distance, such as spinning back fists, Superman punches. But she doesn't have good foot and hand speed. She really struggles with kicks, and she was knocked out with the head kick in her last match. She's tough, though. She will sit and trade, but she has been knocked out twice. She doesn't really have big power. She only has 2 career TKOs. And Cachoeira isn't a terrible grappler. She is physically strong, and she likes to duck under into double underhooks when her opponents get aggressive on her. She'll control them against the cage, but she doesn't have a lot of offense from there. She kind of just stalls her opponents out. She will time body lock. She was able to take Marion Renault down with the body lock. She'll also catch kicks to go for takedowns that way. And on top, she has, pretty heavy top pressure, short hammer fist punches, but she isn't dangerous. She has no submissions, and she's not a threat with that. She does have solid submission defense, and she's good at passing the legs to side control off submissions. She did shoot a single leg from way too far out against Renault, and Renault was able to take top position, mount her, take the back. She did show some big heart, she took some big shots. She was able to roll onto all fours, attempt a single leg a couple times, but she was exhausted, and she just couldn't get up off her back. But I expect Betch to try to wrestle in this match and control Aldana in the clinch. I think she's really going to struggle with the distance if Aldana comes in with the game plan of kicking and moving. And she's been out 1 year, 11 months. She's had eye issues. She's 35 years old. And she may just come back look very old here. But for Cachoeira to win, she needs to close the distance, use her punches to close the distance, get in the clinch, push Aldana to the cage and grind, man. She's trying to break with combinations to the body and the head. Just wear on Aldana and just make it a nasty, grimy fight. But Irene Aldana should win this fight, barring anything crazy, man. She's going to be the faster, longer fighter. She hits harder. I see her working behind her jabs, her leg kicks. I think once she softens up Cachoeira a bit, she's going to start to go forward more with longer combinations that could hurt her. And I'm going to go with Aldana via 3rd round TKO or unanimous decision in this fight, but very confident that Irene Aldana gets it done here. And up next year, we have another fight that I've bet on and I'm pretty confident in. And Thiago Moises, he had a lot of hype surrounding his UFC debut, but he fell flat. And he has a chance here to get a great win on his resume, and he also had a chance to get a great win in his UFC debut against Benny Dariush, but thoroughly out-grappled in that fight. He is fighting in his home country here, and when Moises was allowed to go first, when he's allowed to go first in fights, he's a beast, man. Has a good jab, he has a nasty straight right hand, nice right hook, and he's powerful. It's a slow starter, but he picks up as the fight goes on, and nasty kicks, big leg kicks, body kicks, round kicks to the head. He's athletic. He'll throw spinning heel kicks to the body and the head, jumping roundhouse kicks. He's quick with the techniques, and he'll stay very defensively sound. Nice question mark kicks, pretty nasty, round kicks as well. He'll throw them after combinations, and, he landed a nice head kick to finish the fight in his last win. He doesn't know how to strike moving backwards, though. He has to have his feet planted to strike, and when opponents pressure him, the only times he throws shots are when he's back against the cage and he's flat-footed. And fighters are able to go first, land combinations along the cage on him. He will try to sit down and land hard counter hooks or straights to back his opponents up and then go forward with combinations of his own, but he could just circle the octagon at times, be very passive, and, just not throw much and just allow this guy to control the pace, control the distance, throw combinations on him against the cage, take him down, get in on his legs, and just too passive at times. But he definitely has big power. He could drop fighters with his right hook, with his kicks. He only has 3 knockouts, but he has dropped and submitted fighters before. And he has a solid chin. He's never been finished. And he's a submission specialist. He's a black belt in BJJ. He's a strong fighter, good in the clinch with knees, elbows, and he has good body lock takedowns. He'll shoot double legs against the cage, and he isn't a super active seeker of the takedown. Seems to prefer to strike usually, though. When he does get on top, he is aggressive. He prefers position over submission. And in his last match, he was largely controlled on the ground, though. And he did jump for a guillotine that looked pretty tight. He attacked with an arm bar. And usually when I see a fighter jump guillotine, though, I'll never bet on them. And Moises did it and ended up on his back for it in the first and the third round. After the first round, he was largely dominated. He didn't attack off his back. He couldn't stand up. And he kept giving his back to try to stand up. And Benny was able to take the back, threaten with rear naked chokes. He has 4 submissions, and he's definitely a finisher. He has 8 finishes and 11 wins. He's only 3-2 in decisions. He does have good cardio. He usually gets stronger as the fight goes on. He's fought in some 5-round matches. And he has to stand his ground more in this fight. He can't back up and be passive. Has to be ready to stay on his toes, throw kicks, try to counter with his fast hands. Stick him with the jab, 1-2. Be willing to sit down, throw with power to back Holobough out of the pocket. And, not stay stationary. Use that lateral movement or go forward, staying in and out. But you can't just stand in front of Kurt or just back straight up. And Kurt Holobough, he's going to make the move up to 155 pounds. He was 0-3 so far at 145 in the UFC. So, he was a 2-division champion at Titan FC, so he isn't unfamiliar to fighting at 155, and he's hoping this is going to jumpstart his career. He had a good fight in his last fight. He landed some big shots that dropped Shane Burgos, but when he followed up on the mat, he was quickly submitted with an armbar, and, he said in interviews that he just got too excited. He followed him down there too quickly and, sloppily and got submitted. But Holobough, he's an explosive boxer wrestler. He has knockout power. And he has very good striking. He has very good footwork, good job of stalking his opponents to the cage. And then he'll unload with combinations. Nice jab. He's explosive with his hooks. He'll use a jab, check left hook. And he also has a very nice one, too. He'll throw inside leg kicks as a rangefinder. And he likes to jab to the body and then come over the top with the overhand right. He'll dig powerful hooks to the body. He does a great job wearing his opponents down as the fight goes on. Nice uppercuts. And he likes to finish the combinations with body kicks. Good head movement, and does a good job of he can get his opponents wide with his punches, and fighters are able to and he's able to counter them right down the middle. But he also can get wide with his punches of his own, and he has a great chin, but he was finished pretty brutally by Jaime Barcelos. He does have good cardio. He keeps heavy volume out there, and he has 5 career KO TKOs. He has a strong chin, only been finished once by strikes. But he has to be careful leaving his chin out there when he throws combinations against Moises. Sometimes he can, not bring his hands up fast enough, admire his work a little bit, have his chin out there. And Moises is a big athletic 155er, so Holobough can't take too many clean shots. But Holobough is a wall, man. He's a very strong fighter, very good doubles and singles, and good ground and pound. He isn't an active seeker of the takedown either, but he will shoot for them if he's losing the striking. He is strong in the clinch. He likes to get into the single collar, land short uppercuts. Likes to get in the clinch, circle to the back. And he does a good job taking the back from standing position. He's also improved his takedown defense, but he can be taken down by well-timed shots. And in most of his losses, he's lost to wrestlers. He is decent off his back. He'll attack with arm bars and submissions, mostly just to create scrambles to get back up. But he has good guillotine defense, which he needs to have sharp here. And I think he's going to be a hard fighter to guillotine. His last match, he did drop Shane Burgos, went into his guard carelessly and was armbarred. And, he wants to right that wrong, fight composed here with more of a game plan. And Holobough should also maybe look for takedowns and to take the back here. But he has solid rear naked chokes, 9 submission finishes. And he has only been submitted that one time. Holobough needs to use high guard, his jab, his 1-2, get inside, push Moises back. And if he can get Moises back towards the cage, I see him being able to keep him there with his footwork, his combinations. And he needs to be careful not to get clipped with a big counter or caught with a silly kick. But if he can be the one going forward, using his footwork to keep Moises backed up, I see him winning the fight clearly. I would classify this as a significant step down in competition for Holobough. Even though he's moving up a weight class, I don't think Moises is at the level of Burgos or Barcelos. I think that Moises is very green. He can't strike moving backwards. And Holobough is a forward pressure fighter. He's explosive. He has a great chin, solid footwork. And he also pushes the pace. He doesn't get tired. He keeps the volume high. If he can just avoid being knocked out at range or hit with the big counter, I see him clearly dominating the fight. I think he's going to be the one going forward, pushing Moises back, keeping him against the cage with big boxing combos, body, head, leg kicks. I think Moises will not be able to strike enough off the back foot to keep Holobough off of him. And I think Holobough even potentially will get a TKO against the cage. But I'll say Holobough takes a decision, but I think he should win this fight. So I'm going with Kurt Holobough by decision, and I did have a bet on him, so I think Kurt Holobough is going to get it done here. And up next here, we actually have a pretty fun fight. I like this fight with Ryan Spann against Minotauro Nogueira. And Ryan Spann is going to be entering the Lion's Den here. It's his second UFC fight, and he's fighting a legend in Brazil, man. So he did have a solid decision victory over a Brazilian and Luis Henrique in Brazil, but now it's going to be a different story fighting a legendary Brazilian in Brazil. But even if Minotauro is 42 years old, he's still an intimidating presence. He's a bad dude, man. He proved that by knocking out Sam Alvey. And, Spann has to have the best performance of his career to get it done here. Ryan Spann, he's a big, long, light heavyweight. He's a pretty well-rounded fighter. Good hands. He's long and rangy. He has a snappy jab. Powerful straight right hand. And he is fast. He's accurate with his 1-2. He starts very fast. He goes on the offensive from the start. And nice check hook. He has decent leg kicks. He can throw some body kicks. Good movement. And he tends to not use that all the time, though. He can be very flat-footed. He could show some bad tall man defense, like leaning back to try to avoid shots. Doesn't throw much of anything besides jabs, 1-2s. And his 1-2s can be very obvious. He can get tagged with well-timed overhands. His chin is questionable, man. He's gotten rocked many times. He's been knocked out twice. And he's a decent grappler. He has a wrestling and submission game. He has good single legs, decent double leg slams. He'll jump on guillotines. Good job of using that to either snap his opponent down or rolling him out so he doesn't end up on his back. He was able to get a front choke finish in less than 40 seconds in the Dana White Contender Series. And his takedown defense is questionable, though. He can get very obvious with the striking, just throw 1-2s over and over, overextend on that combination, get double-legged. And he is decent at defending takedowns in the clinch, using his height to reverse top position. And, to reverse position, not top position, I'm sorry. Off his back, his guard isn't bad. He has solid sweeps. I do feel, though, he will be in trouble if Nog gets in top position. I don't really see that happening, though. He can get very desperate for takedowns himself, going for sloppy entries when he gets rocked or tired. Leaves his head exposed to be hit with elbows and punches. And, he got knocked out by Carl Robertson with those Travis Brown elbows. Hurt in that same position against Alex Nicholson. And if he can get on top of you, he has solid ground and pound, decent top control. He'll take the back, go for rear naked chokes. He does have 10 submissions, and he's finished 13 of his 14 wins. He has 1 and 2 in decisions. He tends to get very tired in the third round. And he's going to have to use his reach, his speed advantage at range in this fight. And he needs to keep his 1-2, his leg kicks, to try to keep Minotauro at bay. Try to start fast, take Minotauro out in round 1, where I have a big speed advantage. Kind of the way that Anthony Smith took out Shogun. He should avoid grappling with Nogueira in this match. He also has to win definitively to get a nod if it goes to decision. And Minotauro Nogueira, he's looking to get another UFC win streak going. He's returned from nearly 2 years off, and as a huge underdog, he came through with a big knockout win against Sam Alvey. I actually bet on him in that fight, picked him for you guys. He came through big for us, and this is one of the fastest turnarounds he's had in years. He's fighting 8 months later, and he only fought twice in 2016. That's the only time he's fought more than once in a calendar year in the last 8 years. He only fought once in 2011, once in 2013, once in 2014, once in 2015. He didn't fight at all in 2012 or 2017. So, this is a Nog that's more active than we've seen him in a very long time. But he's still a good southpaw boxer. He looked very good versus Patrick Cummings and Sam Alvey. Nice jab, good left hook, and he likes to follow up his jab with the left hook. And it has knockout power. He does a good job slipping off center line after he throws his left hand. Good job pulling, putting long combinations together in the pocket with his left and right hooks. He doesn't throw many kicks, and it makes him able to be out volume from the outside, which is something that you have to be a little bit worried about in this fight. But he still has a good chin. He's only been finished 3 times. And his last fight that he lost via finish against Ryan Bader, it was due to being stuck in a position on the ground, taking shots, not about taking a concussive blow. He still has solid hand speed. He's a dangerous striker, good uppercuts in close. And when he has an opponent hurt, he's going to go for the finish, and he's usually going to finish the fight. He has 8 knockouts, and, he's a finisher for sure. He's not a grappler, though. In the octagon, he only has 1 career takedown. Pretty good takedown defense. He does do a good job in the clinch. He has nasty knees to the body. He finished Tito Ortiz with those knees. He has good hooks to the head and the body overall on the inside as well. He's a decent dirty boxer. And he's a 3rd-degree black belt jiu-jitsu. He did do a good job surviving on the floor for 3 rounds against Ryan Bader, but he hasn't shown much of his jiu-jitsu offensively. I feel in this fight, he should maybe try to mix it up, but I highly doubt he's going to. Nogueira does have 5 submissions, but he hasn't had a submission since 2009. He's definitely going to be ready to go here. He really wants to win, and, he's in his home country. He doesn't need to fight anymore. Him and his brother are legends in Brazil, but he just loves it, and I think he's one of these guys that is always going to have that hunger to compete, to dig deep. And I think Nogueira is more technical with his boxing, man. He needs to use his jab to find his range, then let his shots go. I feel like his left hook, right hook combination could really hurt Spann potentially. I also feel the longer the fight goes and Spann gets slower, more tired, the better it is for Nogueira. He needs to be careful early not to get caught by the bigger, faster fighter. Mind his P's and Q's in round 1, but I'm picking Nog to get it done here, man. I think Minotauro's going to use solid footwork early, try to avoid those big shots of Spann, get his reads. I see his jabs, his right and left hooks giving Spann issues. I see him being able to back Spann up, land a nasty right hook, left hook combination, and being able to get a knockout finish in the 2nd round. So I'm going with Minotauro Nogueira, getting it done here, and getting 2 wins in a row. So Antonio Rodrigo Nogueira via 2nd round KO TKO. And up next we have a fight that I've been kind of going back and forth on whether I want to make a play on it, because I've kind of identified one thing that I don't really like in the guy's game that I do want to play on. But other than that, I think he does have a good path to victory. But, Diego Ferreira, he's won 4 consecutive fights. He's in the best form of his UFC career, and he's coming off a dominant win, probably the best win of his career. Dominant decision over Rustam Khabilov in Europe. And, Diego has a very nice jab to the body and the head, nice leg kicks. His straight right hand is nasty, man. Very powerful. Nice short left hook. He's very good at doubling his jab up into the straight right hand. He has nice front kicks, round kicks to the body. He will throw head kicks as well. Good left hook, dangerous uppercuts in close range, and he's very aggressive. He'll throw a left hook, right uppercut combination. Very dangerous with spins, and he'll land hard spinning back fists. He will get wild when he gets clipped, and instead of being defensive, he'll start to swing wildly, try to get it back. But against Kyle Nelson, he showed a little more technicality in that way, not doing that. He's very tough, and he's always wanting to get back when his opponents hit him, though. You could just tell that he's a guy that really likes to fight. He has power, but he only has 3 knockouts in his career, but he's been flashing his power much more recently. He has a good chin. He's only been finished by TKO once, and that was against Dustin Poirier, who's the current interim champion of the division. And Diego Ferreira is a dynamic grappler. He's an incredible jiu-jitsu player. On top or off his back, he has great takedown defense. Good job getting double underhooks, circling to the back, getting on top. He isn't an active seeker of the takedown defense, which is 1 in his career, but his scrambling, his sweeping ability off his back is just incredible, man. He's extremely impressive. He starts to working off his back immediately. He'll try to go for triangles, omoplatas, using the sweep, get on top. He has some nasty scrambles in his last match. He was able to defend a takedown, moved directly into the crucifix position, took the back, almost got an armbar, then had a fully locked in rear naked choke. But Khabilov got saved by the bell, and his jiu-jitsu is dynamic, man. He could submit anyone in the division. He has 6 submissions, and, for us to go forward, be aggressive, he needs to use his straight punches to counter Trinato's looping hooks and, just land first. I think if he can win the striking, force Trinado to wrestle, he could get a submission. He has to be aware of the power of Trinado and respect it. And, for Francisco Trinado, he's still a beast at 40 years old. He had a devastating knee to the body finish that sent Evan Dunham into retirement in his last fight. and he's racked up an impressive resume. He's been one of the better fighters in the division for years. And Trinado is a nasty striker. He has a very nice jab, good in and out. He's fast. He only moves forward and backwards mainly. He doesn't use a lot of lateral movement. And I've noticed recently that he's just not as explosive as he used to be, but he's still very dangerous. He does like to move in a boxing range with his jab and kind of try to pull counter his opponents with his straight left or his check right hook. He has a very powerful overhand left. He has great timing on it. He'll throw a lot of looping hooks and just winging shots to try to get inside with. And I feel like in this fight he's going to struggle again with the reach advantage that Ferreira has. He likes to throw a right hook to the body to a left hook to the head combination. And when he can start getting his body shots to the body punches going, he really starts opening up to the head. And, he has nice front knees to the body. He's a veteran, and he's also good at being the hunter, He's able to, go forward and attack, but he can fight going backwards as well. I just don't think that, he doesn't let his go as much or as fast as he used to be. He struggles more with closing distance, but he still goes for it. And if he lands, he can put people's lights out. And he has a very good chin. He's never been finished by strikes. And he has 8 knockouts himself. And, Trinado is a good grappler. He's strong in the clinch, nasty knees, strong elbows. We really saw him beat up Paul Felder against the cage with elbows. He has pretty good double leg takedowns, nice body locks. But I doubt he'll go for many takedowns in this fight unless he's really getting beat up on the feet. He has strong ground and pound, decent top control, and pretty good takedown defense. But that's probably his main weakness. Against Kevin Lee, though, he showed a fantastic sprawl. Extremely strong in the clinch, 9 body locks. He does do a good job sprawling, circling around to the back. And he has good leg locks. He'll use them to sweep to top position. And on his back, he does have good butterfly hooks from his full guard. He does a good job controlling posture. But his get-up game isn't incredible. And if he gets taken down by Diego Ferreira, he has to be very careful not to get submitted. Trinado has 5 submissions. He's been submitted 3 times himself. And Trinado needs to try to counter in this fight, attack the body. I think he could have success with counter hooks, overhands potentially. And if he goes to the body, he could open up the head. He had a nasty knee to the liver finish in his last match. And we saw Diego Ferreira get hurt with a knee to the body versus Kyle Nelson. And that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, that I feel like Carlos Diego Ferreira has a lot of advantages here, but we have seen him hurt to the body previously. But Trinado will continue to go forward. Even if he's hurt, even if he's tired, he's going to fight for your money. But I think Diego Ferreira could finish him in this fight. I see him being able to use his straight punches to counter Trinado's hooks, his overhands, and I see him looking to grapple. I think if he could take Trinado down, get top position, I think he's going to get a submission. And I'm going to say Diego Ferreira wins via 3rd round submission in this fight. And up next here, we have the legend Thiago Alves trying to get 2 in a row here against Laureano Staripoli. And Alves, he bounced back from back-to-back losses. He had that decision win in his last match against Max Griffin, but very questionable decision in Brazil, which me myself and a majority of people thought he lost. But he's going to be fighting again in Brazil, so you have to imagine if the fight is close, Alves is going to get the benefit of the doubt. But he earned his first victory in Brazil in his UFC career in his last fight, and that was great for him. But he's a striker. He's made his career off of hard leg kicks, big power in his hands. He has a nice jab, strong inside-outside leg kicks. Throw an outside leg kick to a jab or a double jab to a leg kick. And, Laureano Staripoli was really hurt with leg kicks against Hector Aldana, so I think that's going to be a big part of his game plan here. When he finds his range, he gets comfortable in the pocket. He'll really start to let his hands go. Good job touching his opponents with a jab, waiting for the counters, throwing fadeaway left hooks. And he's very accurate with his left hook. He's good at slipping and returning with shots. He has a nice left hook, straight right hand combo. And he'll throw nice body kicks, occasional head kicks. Good lateral movement, head movement at range. And when he's countering, he has good defense. But he will get wild and try to change the tide of the fight when he's getting, finesse from the outside. He can struggle a bit with fighters who have longer reaches than him that can jab him up, can land kicks. And he'll kind of just wane in with straight punch combinations and get very wild and hittable. He still has the heart to win, and he comes forward and he's powerful. He has 12 knockouts, but he only has 1 in the last 11 years. He did hurt Max Griffin in his last fight in the 2nd round, almost had him out of there. He has a strong chin, and over his career, he's only been finished by strikes 3 times. He is a good clinch fighter, but he's not much of a wrestler. He has good control, head position in the clinch, and when he has opponents against a cage, he has a good job of landing big elbows, hard knees to the body, to the legs. Good body lock takedowns, and on top he isn't super dangerous. But if he can't posture up, he has powerful ground and pound. He isn't really active with takedown attempts, but he has landed almost 70% of the takedowns he tried in his career. He's shown good takedown defense over his career, but he was taken down multiple times by Max Griffin. He isn't a big submission threat. He only has 2 submissions. He has been submitted 4 times. Alves should come in composed here, work behind his jab, throw leg kicks early and often. I feel he could potentially hurt the leg of Staropoli, slow the movement. And if you can get Staropoli more stationary, I feel he has the better combinations. He's going to land cleaner. I also feel in the clinch he's going to have a big advantage. He could push for takedowns as well in this fight. I think he can land big shots in the clinch, get body locks. He is hittable when he gets tired, and he struggles with the reach. And he has to be able to get inside, not get stuck at the end of Staropoli's straight punches. But, Staropoli also has a good gas tank, so he has to come in this match in shape. But for Laureano, he's won 6 fights in a row. He looked pretty impressive in his UFC debut, but that was against a low-level guy. It was a fight of the night against Hector Aldana. He is a tall fighter. He's going to have a 3-inch reach advantage, or 3-inch reach advantage and height advantage, or 3-inch height advantage in this fight. I'm sorry, only 1.5-inch reach advantage. He is light on his feet. He switches stances. Nice jab, nice 1-2, jab, left hook, left straight, right hand combination. He will wane forward with heavy hooks, and he throws a lot of 1-2s. He'll throw a 1-2 to a leg kick. He'll throw a body head with his hooks, and he mixes in uppercuts. He'll also throw spinning back fist, flying knees, spinning back fist and round kicks to the body or the head. And he's athletic. He always tries to counter back when someone throws at him. He has fairly fast counters. He was hurt with leg kicks in his last match, like I said, and Alves is one of the better leg kickers in the division. And Staropoli is very hittable, but he seems to have a good chin. With this style, I see him getting knocked out in the UFC eventually, and he's already been knocked out 1 time. He has good power. He's finished 5 fights by KO TKO. Staropoli seems to have poor clinch technique and takedown defense, be a very below average grappler to me. He was taken down in the clinch in a fight I saw multiple times, and he allowed his opponents to get inside, clinch up on him way too easily. He was able to get his back to the cage, get back up to his feet, but the guy that was taking him down was only 1-2. There was no grappling in his UFC debut, and he's facing another striker in Alves, so he may be safe here with that, but he does have 2 submissions, and if he hurts you, he'll get on top, go for the finish, and he has nasty ground and pound. When he drops a fighter, you can knock him unconscious with the ground and pound. I could see Alves trying to put Staropoli on his back, maybe, but I'm not sure Staropoli could stop it, actually. I feel like Alves could do it if he wants to, but Staropoli needs to be aggressive, walk Alves down, return with multi-straight punches when Alves throws. And he has great cardio. He has the ability to push the pace for 3 rounds. If you can get him to the cage, be able to stay in and out, attack the body, attack the head, he could tire out and finish Alves, but I'm going to pick Thiago Alves via KO TKO here. See him being able to use a high guard, throw heavy leg kicks, jabs, 1-2s, back Staropoli up, get in the clinch. I see him being able to control Staropoli easily with good head position, land some knees, elbows over the top. And I think eventually he's going to find a finish via 2nd or 3rd round, KO TKO. So I'm going with Thiago Alves in this fight. Alright, man. Yeah, this is a fight I'm really looking forward to. And if you guys been watching my videos, you know me, you know anything about, who I like. I'm going Jose Aldo here again, man. I bet on Jose Aldo in every single one of his fights in the UFC that he's ever been in. So, yeah, not stopping here, man. I'm picking Jose Aldo to get the win. I've really enjoyed the last 2 cashes that I've had on him. As an underdog, a lot of people were counting him out in both those fights. And went out there, finished Jeremy Stevens, finished Renato Moicano. Really like to see that. And, Alex Volkanovski, this guy's a beast, man. He had a great win over Chad Mendes in his last fight. He's a fighter you have to put to sleep to get out of there. And his biggest advantage in this match is his cardio. He has great cardio. He can push a hard pace for all 3 rounds. And if Volkanovski can weather a storm early, take Aldo into the later rounds, he's going to have a better chance of, getting his game going. I feel Volkanovski should pressure Aldo, try to go first, try to use his jab or shots to draw counters of Aldo, be ready to slip in return, and, catch him close the distance or in the pocket with a big shot. I feel after round 1, he should start to try to, just make him defend takedowns or make him defend entries against the cage. just to try to create openings, create shots off the break, because I think he's going to really struggle to get inside on Aldo. And if Volkanovski can get him tired going into round 3, maybe he could put it on him in the last round, try to take him out. But, to me, man, Volkanovski's a well-rounded fighter. He has a heavy grappling background. He's a solid striker, but he's just not very dynamic. He has nice jab, good leg kicks. He'll attack the body with the jab. He likes to throw counter overhand rights as fighters close the distance. And I think that's something that he could try to do and land that counter overhand right. He'll also throw overhand right as a lead to close the distance and get in the clinch. And, he does a good job sticking in the pocket, sliding in and out, returning with left hooks, overhand rights, body kicks, head kicks. And he throws kicks with his lead leg, which is a little interesting. He keeps heavy pressure on opponents. He always likes to control the cage, push him backwards. He'll do a good job of faking level changes to create overhand opportunities or uppercuts. And he'll close the distance with, straight left, right uppercut combination, straight left, right hooks, uppercuts. He doesn't throw a lot in combination, though, in most of his fights. And he mostly uses, 1 or 2 shot attacks and then just likes to slide away and return. And against an athletic freak who can close the distance like Aldo, I don't know if that's going to work, man. He is powerful, but he doesn't possess, that one-shot power, really. In my opinion, he did drop Chad Mendes, finished him pretty good. He does have 11 TKOs and 19 wins, and he was TKO'd in his lone loss. In a lot of his fights, he's had to rely on wrestling, on control against the cage to win the fight. And in this fight, I don't think he's going to get even close to taking Aldo down. I don't think he's going to get on Aldo's legs. And, I think Aldo's going to defend all the wrestling shots fairly easily. I don't even know if he's going to even attempt them. But Aldo's going to do what he does, man. He's going to use his lateral footwork, his angling, his pod shots from the outside, explode in when he sees the opportunity. And he also does a lot of standing. He'll stand flat-footed in front of opponents, but he's coiled like a spring, man. He's just ready to counter. He's still blazing fast. Big hand speed, flying knees. He needs to keep that jab pumping, those leg kicks. And I think Aldo will try to throw a jab, overhand right, jab, straight right hand, and catch Volkanovski with the second punch in a combination. He's been throwing that left hook to the body, to the head a lot recently. That's what got him the win in his last 2 fights. And if he could start to beat Volkanovski in an outside game, Volkanovski may get sloppy or start to panic for takedowns. And that's where all those flying knees, his knees to the body coming into play, his lead elbows. And I don't see Volk being able to take Aldo down, man, or even get on his legs against the cage. Aldo has probably the best anti-grappling in MMA history. Aldo's also been ripping the body much more lately, and you should attack the body, throw leg kicks to try to stop that forward pressure of Volkanovski, the jab. He needs to be economical in this match, though. If he can win a decision where he coasts, just do it. Alex is dangerous. No reason to try to finish such a durable guy or go in crazy for the finish. When you see Aldo fight smaller wrestler boxers, though, like Frankie Edgar, Chad Mendes, he's put on some master classes, man. His second fight with Edgar, that was a clinic. He was able to just use his jab, his kicks, his lateral movement, and Edgar couldn't do anything. He couldn't take him down. He couldn't get inside, and that's kind of how I see this fight going, man. I see him kind of making a redo of that Frankie Edgar fight where he did it for 5 rounds, and this time it's only 3 rounds, so he has an even, shorter period of time where he has to stay sharp and be able to do this. He only has to win 2 out of 3 rounds. If Volkanovski comes in there and knocks him out, or comes in there and takes him down and submits him, which I think is just insane to predict that, but if he can do that, then hats off to Volkanovski. That would be one of the biggest wins of his career that he's ever going to have. But yeah, man, I think that Aldo's going to be too fast with his lateral movement. I think his feet are faster. I think he's going to be landing that jab, those leg kicks. I think he's going to be attacking the body with straight rights with his left hook. And, I feel like he could catch Volkanovski with some big overhand, some big hooks when he tries to get inside, potentially. Maybe even a flying knee and knock him out also. But I'm going to say Aldo wins a 3-round decision in this fight. And it's like a clinic. I think it's going to be like a 30-26. Maybe Alex Volkanovski will be able to win the 3rd round. So maybe it'll be like Aldo wins 10-8, 10-9, and then Volkanovski wins 10-9. But I do think Aldo's going to get a 10-8 round in here, potentially. And I think that he's going to dominate this fight. I think people are going to... They got to stop sleeping on Aldo, man. He's going to dominate this fight. But I'm going with Jose Aldo via decision here. And up next here, we have another pretty interesting fight with Anderson Silva coming back. He's taking on Jared Cannonier, who looked really impressive in his last fight. And Anderson looked pretty impressive as well. He had a valiant performance. He was tied 1-1 going in third round against Israel Adesanya, but Jared Cannonier went in there and knocked David Branch out cold. So, he obviously had a better performance. He looked really good. And, Silva still looked to throw a lot of jabs, feints to set up his kicks. He has good front and round kicks to the body. He will throw a 1-2, decent right hook in the pocket. He showed he still is very explosive. He threw a flying knee, which he was almost jumped out of the cage. And, he still tries to use his head movement and counter. You saw that in his last fight with Israel Adesanya. He was trying to goad him to fall into the cage so he could do that, rope-a-dope where he's moving his head, countering like he did for Stephan Bonner. And Israel was respecting him. He didn't even do it. He didn't even take the bait to go in there and do that. And, he still does a good job grabbing his opponent's hands. He'll drag their hands down, throw head kicks, dangerous kicks from unusual angles. And, he's relied heavily on keeping fighters at kicking range using his length. But in this fight, he's going to have the exact same length as Jared Cannonier. But Cannonier isn't a kicker, so I think he's still going to be able to do that here. And Silva hasn't scored a knockout since 2012. He's 1-4-1 in his last 6 fights. But he does have 22 knockouts. His chin is still pretty good. He took some big shots against Israel Adesanya. And he's devastating the clinch, man. That Muay Thai plum, that used to be his thing. But against Derek Brunson, Brunson was laying some big shots in the clinch. He did show some good takedown defense there. And he is a black belt on the ground. But what I see out of this fight, is a lot of standing in the mirror. I think that, Cannon, he's low output. Even though Cannonier, as the fight goes on and if he gets his confidence, he'll keep his hands down. He can start to slip shots, look really nice with his counters. He has big power. He has nice kicks. He switches stances. He does a good job. But, he's low output. He, is slower on the feet than Anderson. He's hittable with jabs, with leg kicks. I see Anderson using a lot of lateral movement, feigning, trying to pull counter, throw flashy techniques. And I see Cannonier trying to slowly walk him down, trying to get Anderson's back against a cage where he could throw longer combinations. In that range, I see them there not being much action, and I see them just trading solo shots, short combos, and I think Anderson is still a little faster. It can move a little better. If I had to guess, unless Cannon gets a knockout, which is possible, I see Anderson winning the fight, man, in a ho-hum decision. Cannonier's aggressive. He goes forward. He puts himself at risk, and he could get finished by doing that, but it could make the fight entertaining. And he has to have an impressive finish here, in my opinion. So, that's what he should do. He should go for it in that first round, really try to take him out. But Anderson's still a legend. He garners a lot of respect, and I just don't see Cannon walking him down like that. So I'm going to say Anderson Silva wins via decision in this fight, but not confident and don't really have the greatest read on this fight, to be honest with you. Yep, and for the main event, we have a fun fight. Jessica Andrade, she's getting her second crack at a UFC title. 3 dominant victories since her unanimous decision loss to Jan Jacek, and nasty knockout in her last fight. Probably one of the best female knockouts of all time. Looking like a killer, and she's getting a fight for the belt in her home country. For Rose, she comes into her 3rd consecutive championship fight as the underdog. And she was the underdog in the rematch even after getting a first-round knockout over the strawweight queen, Joanna Jacek. And she's a slight underdog here again in this spot. And she's taken the challenge as the champion to defend her belt in Andrade's home country. So I feel like Rose enjoys fighting through adversity a little bit. But this fight's going to be all about distance control. Rose is going to be on the outside moving, trying to pick apart Andrade. And Andrade's going to be coming in, marauding in with those big overhands, those big hooks. Vanderlei Silva style, and Andrade rarely sets things up. She'll use the jab, but she struggles with movement. She was able to close the distance to defeat Torres, but she struggled a bit in that fight. She couldn't do much of anything against Joanna Jacek on the feet. Jacek was jabbing her up, was moving, was keeping her at bay with front kicks, with leg kicks, and Jessica was throwing air a lot, and she was getting pull countered a lot, but she could eat the shots of Joanna. And she did seem like she got stung a couple times, but she didn't get dropped, anything like that. Against Rose, I feel like Rose packs a little more pop, and she could walk into a big shot here. But, when she lands, she's deadly. She has KO power. She's always coming forward, throwing those big, wild looping hooks, those overhands. And if she lands, she's dangerous. That's why. And when she gets you against the cage, she unloads with long combinations. She'll go body, head, and she tries to take you out. She's vicious, man. But you have to stay sharp against her for the entire 25 minutes. And, she could just wing a shot in the 24th minute and knock you out, But I feel Rose could potentially drop her with a straight right hand, hurt her with a kick. But she also has the ability to hurt Rose herself. But I think Andrade will try to wrestle because I just see Rose winning the stand-up, to be honest. I think Rose's movement, her laterally is excellent. She's very fast twitch. She can pull counter very well. And I think she's going to be able to avoid the wild bombs of Andrade's counter with straighter, tighter shots down the pipe, with combinations, with leg kicks. I think her jab will be a factor. Front kicks to the head, to the body, oblique kicks to the legs will be a factor. And I think she hits hard, and I could see her hurting Andrade potentially. I think Andrade is going to be trying to get takedowns, and Rose has to be ready to deny the clinch entries, not stay near the cage, bounce right up when she's taken down. If she can keep this fight standing, I think she has a high likelihood of winning. She's also dangerous with her jiu-jitsu, and Jessica has been submitted, but I wouldn't try to submit Andrade personally. Joanna in the later round, she was able to exploit the way Andrade overextends and throws everything on her punches, and she was able to, do this probably 4, 5, 6 times where she ducked under and took the back from standing position. And Joanna would just disengage after doing this, but I could see Rose doing this thing, and doing the same thing, and maybe even jumping on her back, looking for the rear naked choke. And I'm going to pick Rose via rear naked choke, whether she takes the back in that way or she just drops her, takes the back and submits her. But I'm going Rose via 4th round rear naked choke. I think she's going to defend her title here. And I actually like the matchup. I think it's a very contrast of styles, but I think Rose is going to be the smarter fighter. She's going to be the one moving more, come with the better game plan, and she's going to get it done. So I'm going with Rose Namajunas to retain her title in this fight. And for the most confident pick of the week this week, I guess I would say it's either, Clay Guida or Barcelos, but I'm going to give you guys Irene Aldana as the most confident pick because her odds are much better. And for the parlay of the week, I'm going to do Irene Aldana, Toledo Bernardo, and Ione Barcelos as a 3-teamer. I think that has a very high likelihood of hitting. It's almost even odds, so I'm going to go with that parlay. The other plays that I have this week are Kurt Holobough. I have him as a play so far. I'm going to be playing Jose Aldo. I still haven't, put a bet on him yet. And I also have a play, like I said, on Toledo Bernardo at -160, which is one of my bigger plays of the year. So really hoping that Toledo could come through for me. I really think she is. I feel like this is a solid matchup for Toledo to win here. And be on the lookout for the post-weigh-in breakdown on Friday. I'm going to be doing that again. I'll give you guys the exact final picks that I do, all the bets that I place. And, so hopefully we can get a win streak going 2 in a row. I'm actually feeling pretty confident on this card. I like the lines. I like the plays that I have and the plays that I'm thinking about making. So thinking this is going to be a good week. We're going to have some good juju this week again. And, start to get a win streak going with this parlay of the week with the most confident pick. And thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, and share this video. I have my PayPal link in the description if you want to support the show. And I also have my Twitter in there, my bet MMA tips. So you can go look at my bets as well. And guys, thanks for watching. And hopefully we can win some money on Saturday night.